Good day, friends. Today, we talk about the rules of good health. And these rules are no different from the rules our grandmother gave us years and years ago. The only difference, if any, will be the slightly scientific perspective that I might add to what Grandma said. Now, what did Grandma always say about keeping healthy? She said, make sure you eat the right food, you've got to do some exercise, have enough sleep, do not smoke, and always be cautious regarding safety. Now, those are the exact same rules that I will emphasize, but perhaps in a different sequence. So the rules of good health that we will be talking about today are: rule number 1, check your health, have a medical screening. Rule number 2, a healthy diet, the right foods in the right quantities. Rule number 3, exercise every day, a little bit of moderate exercise every day. Rule number 4, manage your stress. Have sufficient sleep, relaxation, and family time. Rule number 5, no smoking. Alcohol in moderation, especially wine, is acceptable. But remember the moderation. And the final rule, safety in all its forms, at all times, every time. A little bit of explanation regarding each of these. Your health. For years now, we have been implementing the annual medical check. And if you go with what the World Health Organization says, then each of us, generally speaking, needs to have an annual medical check. And this annual medical check is usually done in a hospital or a clinic, and it contains an entire spectrum of tests that include the X-ray and the ECG and the blood picture. And sometimes we have a CT scan and your evaluation of your liver and your kidneys and so on and so forth. Over the years, we've realized that we can do this at a much lower price. And we can do it far more quickly. And we needn't do this not necessarily in a clinic, while, of course, that is the best situation or the best location for these tests. So, what are the new tests that we need to have? We need to have those tests in which the body status changes frequently. Your body status will change from moment to moment as regards blood sugar, depending upon the food you eat. It will change frequently in blood pressure, depending upon your physical and mental activity. So those tests are important. You needn't have a liver function test, for example, or a renal function test, for example, not necessarily frequently, but in an annual check perhaps. But the new change that has come about is that you need to have a lifestyle check. A lifestyle check helps you to identify your health as opposed to your illness. Now, when you go to a hospital, you have what is known as an illness check. If at all you have an ailment, if it is blood pressure or diabetes or arthritis or spondylosis or malfunctioning of the liver, we will identify that immediately. But in the tests that we recommend, especially at your work site, we recommend a lifestyle evaluation which correlates the risk with the ailment. If, for example, you have blood pressure, then what is the cause? A health check defines cause. It defines the reasons why you have the ailments you have. And therefore, in a health check, we evaluate your diet, we evaluate your exercise activity, we evaluate your stress levels, and we counsel you. So, step one in good health is to have a medical check. And these days, since lifestyle is the major causative factor of most modern lifestyle ailments such as hypertension, diabetes, cardiac ailments, and cancer, we would naturally like that you have a lifestyle evaluation along with your medical check. Rule number one, have a medical check. Rule number two, eat the right foods in the right quantities at the right time. Your food is your medicine. You are what you eat. And therefore, you need an appropriate balanced diet. And what is a balanced diet? A balanced diet is a diet that contains sufficient meat and protein, pulses and gram if you are vegetarian, which is a vegetable protein. You need fibers and energy, which will come from carbohydrates and fruit, vegetable, and grain. And then you need oil to make your food, which will give you the fat component. So what you need is a balanced diet with sufficient eggs and meat and milk and fruit and vegetables, and a little bit of oil and a little bit of sugar and a dash of salt. A balanced diet. What will you get from a balanced diet? You will get the protein, the carbohydrate, and the fat that you require, and each of these contain micronutrients. And these micronutrients contain vitamins and minerals and antioxidants which purify the blood, strengthen your cells, and protect you from cancer. These days, you can't talk about nutrition without talking about a diet. There are several diets. To name a few, you could have the high-fat diet, or the high-protein diet, or the low-carbohydrate diet, or if you wish to put a name to that, you could have the Atkins diet, the Pritkin diet, and so on and so forth, the General Motors diet, and so on and so forth. My best advice to you in the rules of good health is stay with a balanced diet. The best diet that you can possibly have is a balanced diet. And if you wish to put a name to it, you could talk about the Mediterranean diet, which is world famous. And it is world famous because people in the Mediterranean live longer than most other individuals, commonly known as the blue zone. And what is their diet? Their diet is a balanced diet with a dash of wine, a little bit of olive oil, lots of vegetables, a little bit of meat and cheese and fish, and a lot of exercise activity. So that is a good diet. When you eat is as important as what you eat. A good breakfast will give you enough energy for the day. And not only that, the very fact that you are active through the day will burn the calories. And therefore, there will be no residual fat left over. There will be no storage. The moment you should not eat, or the time that you should not eat, especially a heavy diet, is after sunset. After sunset, you quickly move to getting to bed, and at that time your metabolism is low, therefore you burn little calories, and therefore whatever you eat at dinner converts into fat and storage. So breakfast like a king and dinner like a solid man, and dinner like a beggar is what Grandma said, and that rule holds good even today. Putting a more scientific perspective to this, the food you eat in is calories in, must be matched by the activity that you do, which is calories out, which means you must be physically active. Walking and exercise is essential to metabolize your food and prevent accumulation of fat. Fat as opposed to fiber. Fat is dense in energy and high in calories. Fiber, on the contrary, is not easily digested and contains low, if no, calories. Fruits and vegetables contain fiber. Meats and oils contain oil. So less meat and oil and more vegetables and fruits for their fiber. Natural foods are easily assimilated and are not toxic. Processed foods, also known as fast foods, and rightly referred to as junk foods, are processed. They contain chemicals and colorings, and these become toxic. 30% of cancers are related to the food that we eat. Rule number one, have a medical check. Rule number two, the right foods in the right quantities. Rule number three, be sure to exercise. And why should we exercise? The benefits of exercise are profound. When you exercise, your heart beats faster. When your heart beats faster, your blood circulates throughout the body. When your heart beats faster, you require more oxygen. You breathe in more frequently. When your respiration increases, your oxygen levels increase. When your oxygen increases, your blood is purified. When your blood is purified, it releases all the toxins in the body. It counterbalances all the toxins in the body and purifies your system and protects you against cancer. When you exercise, your muscles are strengthened. When you exercise, you move your joints and they become more flexible. When you exercise, you utilize sugar, you utilize fat and energy. You become slim and trim and strong and flexible. There are profound benefits to exercise. So if exercise is good, what is exercise? Exercise comprises of 3 or 4 components. When you exercise, it is an outdoor, preferably an outdoor activity with fresh air, but you could exercise in a gym also. When you exercise, you need to get strength for the muscles. You need to get stamina for the heart and lungs. You need to stretch your tendons and your muscles and keep your joints mobile. So how do we get strength? Let's go with stamina first. How do we improve our stamina? Activities such as walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, a game of football, a game of tennis, anything that increases your heart rate and makes your respiration, breathing rapid and intense, will give you stamina. Strength. You can do calisthenics or freehand exercises in your home, exercises like the sit-up or the push-up or the squat will strengthen your legs, arms, and abdomen, the muscles. Or you can go to a gym and your trainer will give you all the exercises that you need to strengthen your shoulders and your arms and your abdomen and your back and your thighs and your calves. So that is strength. Flexibility, again, joint mobility exercises, move the neck, move the shoulder, the elbows, the wrist, your fingers, your waist, your hips, your knees, your ankle. Just move these. The more you move it, the more fluid they will become. Or, if you wish to be exotic, you could use a trainer and maybe do some yoga or Pilates or calisthenics, any freehand exercise movement. How does one get fit? The word fit, F stands for frequency, I stands for intensity, and T stands for time. What is the frequency with which we should exercise? The frequency with which we should exercise is 6 days a week. You do eat food every day, don't you? You sleep every day, don't you? There's no good reason why you should not exercise every day. But apparently God rested on the seventh day, and you may choose to do the same thing. It helps the body to recover and regenerate. But your trainer will give you a better frequency. It could be alternate days, or it could be every day, depending upon the intensity of your program. Intensity, for the youngers, it can be very intense. For those who are professional sports persons, it could be very intense, where your heart rate would go up to 190 or 200 beats per minute, but not without your trainer's guidance. The rest of us will require a medical approval from our doctors before we start exercising, especially if you're above the age of 35. Intensity for recreational activity is moderate. And moderate would mean that you must be able to hold a comfortable conversation while exercising. If you become breathless during exercise, the exercise is too intense for you. As far as time is concerned, recreational exercise, the maximum time is 1 hour, the minimum is 30 minutes. If you are a professional exercise proponent or a young active sports person, you may exercise 1.5 hours or 90 minutes, and sometimes it could even be 1 hour sessions 2 times a day. And then we have another word there called type. What is the type of exercise activity that you could do? You could go to the gym, you could do yoga, or you could play football, you could play cricket, and so on and so forth. They all add up. So you can create your own program with the help of your trainer. And that is physical activity. The brain is active all the time. It is active while during the day, while at work or while at home. It is also active while you sleep, unlike your muscles, which are dormant during sleep. So it is important to keep your brain relaxed. In these modern days, stress is a reality. How do we know we have stress? A few questions you can ask yourself or answer. Are you irritable? Do you have improper sleep? Do you have asthma? Do you have body ache or backache? Do you have allergies? Do you have hypertension? All of these are known as psychosomatic ailments, which means that this is the weak link syndrome. When you have high levels of mental tension, stress, or anxiety, the body tends to break down in the area where it is weakest. In the ladies, it could be in the reproductive area. For men, it could be hypertension or cardiac ailments. This is a signal. These ailments are a signal that you have too much of stress. Now, where does this stress come from? It could come from your personality. Are you ambitious, competitive, result-oriented, hardworking? Are you the type of individual who competes with everyone and everything around you? It means you have a stressful personality. It's possible that you have a difficult job. You could be working several shifts. It's possible that your salary is inadequate. It's possible that your qualifications do not match the work that you do. Or in case you are a homemaker, it's possible that the load is too much. There are too many children. There are the in-laws to manage. There is the husband to take care of. There is the home to take care of. There are bills to pay. All of these can cause stress. So stress can come from home or work. A day has only 24 hours, 8 hours of which is meant for sleep and 8 hours for work. And 8 hours is your recreation time, the time that you spend with your family. But if you cannot sleep 8 hours or you cannot spend time with your family and you work 14 to 18 hours in 2 shifts, you will have stress caused by an inappropriate routine. Or you could have a problem without a solution, a legal problem, a financial problem, a health problem, a job problem, any problem that has persisted over time without a remedy. Now, this will cause stress. And when you have stress, toxins are released in the body and they cause the body to break down. And that breakdown is psychosomatic. The headaches and the irritability, they all come from inappropriate toxicity in the body. How do you manage this? Exercise is a great remedy. Exercise uses all the hormones in the body, all the adrenaline, all the toxins, and dissipates it. At the end of exercise, you are tired and you sit down and you breathe heavily the pure, fresh air, and you find that you are rested and relaxed and the body is energetic. It is bereft of all its stress. So exercise is a replication of a fight or flight. And therefore it is good for managing stress. Or you could choose the opposite methodology. And that is the methods from the East. There's a picture on your screen which shows these individuals meditating and relaxing. When you meditate and relax, your brain calms down and your pulse rate drops and your breathing drops and your brain wave drops and you relax. And relaxation is the opposite of stress. So that could be a good way to manage your stress. One of the best ways to manage stress is to have friends and relatives and support systems and social contacts, so that if there is a problem, you can take group support to solve the problem. A legal problem requires a lawyer, and a medical problem requires a doctor, and all of these come from society. And then, of course, there is the spiritual problem. When you get to bed each night and you have a problem and you want to pass that problem to a higher being, you can talk to any higher being that is representative of your needs and ask for solutions. And most often those solutions come through. So stress causes ailments. It comes from our day-to-day activities. It can be managed by exercise, meditation, prayer, as well as social support. Nature's medicine is sleep, the opposite of stress. When you are stressed, your brain waves go up to 52 cycles per second, and when you sleep, your brain waves are between 1 to 4 cycles per second. The brain waves that you have while you sleep are the delta theta brain waves, and the brain waves while you are stressed and on a day-to-day activity level, these are your beta brain waves, your alpha and beta brain waves, the high brain waves. The high brain waves increase adrenaline in the body, and that increases the toxins in the body. Now, when you go to sleep, the brain waves drop to 1 to 4 cycles per second. And when the brain waves drop, the body releases endorphins, the healing hormones. Sleep is nature's healer. It releases growth hormones for children when they grow. And growth hormones are not only used for growth, but also for repair of tissue. So when you sleep, abundant endorphins are released. And when you are awake, the endorphins are not released. And therefore, the healing of the body takes place at night and not during the day. During the day, it is wear and tear. At night, it is rejuvenation and repair. When you sleep, you dream. And these frenzied dreams result in the release of nervous energy. And this brings the brain down to a state of relaxation. Now, when you sleep, you have different sleep cycles. You have the REM cycle for dream, and then you have the NREM cycle for dreamless sleep. When you dream, you release nervous energy that is in excess and accumulated through the day. And when you go into a dreamless state, the body releases endorphins. And these endorphins revitalize and repair tissues. Your muscles, your blood, your cells. We sleep for approximately 8 hours a day. We should. And almost every hour there is a sleep cycle. The NREM and the REM sleep cycle, it goes up and down. So every 1 hour you dream, and then you go into a deep sleep state, and you require at least 6 of these to cleanse the body. Oh, what are the factors that prevent you from going to sleep? Mainly stimulants. It could be that cup of coffee, it could be that drink that you might have had, it could be the TV program that you were watching, it could be stress, or it could be noise, heat. These are the things that can prevent a good night's sleep. And what happens when you don't sleep well? You are irritable and you are short-tempered and you are confused. You cannot function at your best. So what is the rules of sleep? If at all we are to put it like that. That would be perhaps go to bed at the same time every time. Have a glass of milk before you sleep. It contains lactose, which helps babies to sleep. No reason why it shouldn't help you. Make sure that your room is dark and cool and that you have sufficient bed covering with no noise around you. use your bed and bedroom for activities that are conducive to sleep. Try not to watch TV before you go to sleep. And I've already mentioned that stimulants are not a good idea. And if you can maintain these rules, then you would sleep for about 6 to 8 hours and you would be delightfully refreshed when you get up. So we've spoken about some of the rules of good health. And what are these rules? Rule number 1, medical screening. Rule number 2, the right food and the right quantities, nutrition. Rule number 3, exercise. Rule number 4, managing stress. And now we come to rule number 5. It's not what you do, it's what you should not do. You should not smoke. Smoking causes cancer. Every cigarette contains 4,000 chemicals, 45 of which are clearly carcinogenic. Causes cancer to you. The side stream smoke causes cancer to your family. There's enough been said about smoking, but I will repeat, do not smoke. Smoke causes cancer. Tobacco. Smoking means the burning of tobacco, which you inhale in your lungs, which causes cancer, not only on the lungs, but through the body. Some chew tobacco, and chewing tobacco causes cancer of the gums. So smoking and tobacco is a taboo. It is a no-no. Alcohol in the form of wine, especially red wine, is known to be beneficial, and beer is meant to have its own benefits in terms of micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. But not much of great health benefit can be said about alcohol, such as a whiskey or a rum or a gin or a tequila. And if at all you are to have these because of habit, remember the golden rule. Never drink every day. Never exceed 2 small units. But wine taken with your meal is good. Beer on occasion, on a weekend, is also quite acceptable. What is not acceptable is narcotics and drugs. Drugs come in the form of medication and are prescribed by your doctor. Now, these are beneficial for you. It could be a heart medicine, it could be medicine for diabetes, it could be medicine to prevent infection, it could be antibiotics. These are essential and good for you. It could be medication for your stomach, or it could be medication for your arthritis or spondylosis or the rash that you have. These are all drugs, but they are essential and they are prescribed by a medical professional. When do they become drug abuse? It becomes drug abuse when you take too much. If, for example, your doctor has given you certain pills to relax, and then you take those pills every night before you sleep as a sleeping pill, that is drug abuse. Or your doctor gives you some other pills like a cough syrup, and when you drink a cough syrup, since it contains a little bit of alcohol, you feel quite nice, and you have too much of that, that is drug abuse. Drug abuse is taking too much and taking it too long. It will affect you the same way as narcotics affect you. And what are these narcotics? Come in 3 basic categories. They stimulate you. They make you feel energetic. Cocaine is a good example of that. Many housewives would prefer to relax relaxants, barbiturates, sleeping pills are an example of that. Or the younger individuals will go for party drugs and hallucinogens such as LSD. And all these drugs give you a sense of euphoria, you feel good, your confidence builds up, you are relaxed, you get addicted, you get hooked, so to speak, and the good effect becomes the bad effect. And it results in mood swings, it results in violence, it results in addiction, it results in depression, it results in loss of memory, it results in loss of social responsibility. An overdose can result in death. How do we help ourselves? You can detox. Meet your doctor, he will put you on medical therapy. Or you could go to Drugs Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous. Social therapy helps. Alternative therapies, acupuncture, meditation, relaxation, yoga, they're all supportive. But the bottom line is that smoking, alcohol, and drugs should be avoided. Safety. This is especially important for injury prevention. This is especially important for the younger age groups who drive around in automobiles and motorcycles at outrageous speed. When you are in your automobile at all times, be safety conscious. Wear that helmet or that seatbelt. Keep within the speed limits. Adhere to the rules of the road. And remember, the majority of deaths in the world of younger individuals is caused by the automobile. Safety at all times, every time. Fortunately, there are legal, what is the word I'm searching for? There are legal rules that are implemented for safety at the workplace. The factory safety rules: wear a helmet, wear safety shoes, wear appropriate clothing, avoid certain hazardous locations. And we must translate those rules to the home. Ensure that the electrical connections are kept high up beyond the reach of children. Use non-slip rugs so that the elders in the family do not slip, especially while having a bath. Use safety railings in the bath as well as in the stairway. Make sure that you put the gas off. Make sure that the exhausts are working. Be conscious of safety at home and at work. Many of our recreational activities add to risk of injury. You take the case of skydiving, you take the case of hang gliding, scuba diving, or participation in the martial arts, or race driving. All of these can result in tragic injury. So be sure to adhere to the rules of safety in that location, in those recreations also. I'm an avid cycler, but I never cycle without my helmet. Adhere to all the rules of safety all the time. And safety is relevant in sexual activity also. 96% of the human adult population is involved in sexual activity. The number one rule that you need to keep in mind, and the rule that is perhaps all that we need to mention in this lecture, since it is not a lecture that deals with sexuality, the rule that we need to mention for sexual safety is monogamous sexual activity between two mutually faithful, consenting adults. So we come back to what our grandma told us. I have taken the liberty of adding a little bit of scientific corroboration to what grandma said, but if grandma had to repeat herself, she would simply say, have you been to your doctor for your annual medical check? Have you eaten your fruit and vegetables and drunk your milk? Have you been for your exercise today? Did you sleep the 8 hours that you were supposed to? I hope you do not smoke. And please don't forget to wear your helmet when you drive your motorcycle. So friends, the rules of good health are: check your health, have a medical checkup, eat the right food in the right quantities, manage your weight, have fruit and vegetable, avoid extreme diets, exercise every day. Don't forget the 3 components of stamina for the heart and lung, strength for the muscles, and mobility for the joints. Manage your stress, meditation, relaxation, sleep, a comfortable personality, problem solving. Do not smoke. Avoid chewing tobacco. Alcohol is to be managed. The good alcohol could be wine and beer perhaps, but beyond that, it must be managed. In even beer and wine, not more than a glass of wine, not more than a glass of beer, perhaps every 2 or 3 days of the week, not more than that. And safety at all times, every time. If you're able to manage these 6 rules of good health, you will live a long, happy, contented life with good quality health. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And as I mentioned, this is Adrian Kennedy speaking to you. My email is available at the bottom of this slide. I will be happy to receive any queries from you in case you have any doubts. Now, thank you so much and have a good day.